On October 4th, the West Bloomfield Fire Department held their annual open house at Fire Station Number 1. The open house kicks off National Fire Prevention Week by bringing the public together to teach our youth about fire safety. Civic Center TV, in cooperation with the West Bloomfield School District, was there to kick off the event with a live broadcast on 89.3 WBLD, the new Lakes FM. We spoke with community leaders about safety education and how the various facets of the township work in collaboration. At the annual West Bloomfield Fire Department open house here on Orchard Lake Road, Fire Station Number 1, right next to West Bloomfield High School. Don't worry about parking because you can't park on the premises here, but our good friends at the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation have provided a shuttle for folks to park at the high school and then come down to the event. And it looks like everybody's taking advantage of it.
Oh, yeah, and it runs every 10 to 15 minutes, so it's so convenient.
So we want to thank Jennifer Tucker and the good folks at Parks and Recreation for providing that. Again, a community effort. It all comes together. And it works well that way for people to be able to enjoy what's going on. Mm-hmm. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to talk to Pastor Tim, is it
Holzerland?
Holzerland?
Right?
Yeah, Holzerland.
Tim Holzerland, who's the chaplain of the West Bloomfield Fire Department. And this is a chance for you, Tim, to be able to tell the community what your function is and how you fit in with what's going on here and how in operations. So thank you, first of all, for joining us.
You're welcome. People, they always ask if they find out I'm the chaplain of the department, what does a chaplain do? Especially with a fire department. So, believe it or not, I've got probably 3 or 4 different things that I do in the department. So one of the things that people don't see on a regular basis is that there is a ceremony that takes place when somebody is promoted. So if they go from being a sergeant to a lieutenant or lieutenant to captain, or they've completed a sort of a task or a thing that they do, and they're awarded for it, especially when they're promoted, there's a ceremony that takes place, and it includes the honor guard, the chief comes. What's really neat is when new hires are off probation, then they're awarded their badge from West Bloomfield, all these things. So the general public doesn't see that, but that kind of takes place. And then they ask the chaplain to speak at that function. And so I might pick a virtue, or I know them on probation, so then I talk about the things that they accomplished, the things that they did. So one thing I do is I speak at promotions. The other thing that I do is that from time to time, when I'm called upon, then I would be called to a scene. And sometimes that's in the middle of the night, and sometimes that's during the day. But if someone should die in West Bloomfield, and the fire department's there, police department's there, they usually send in a chaplain who would speak and comfort the family, or at least sit with the family while they're trying to resuscitate or they're trying to help in some sort of way. So I've done that about 2 times now, and hopefully I won't do that ever again. Right. But I was there the night that Patrick O'Rourke was shot and killed. Right. And then I was also called in the middle of the night when a young man drowned in Walnut Lake about 3 years ago. That's, one of the more critical things, I guess, that I do. And the other thing that I do, and I find out very quickly, is that firefighters get hurt on the job. Mm-hmm. And so I'm called in if one ends up in a hospital, either work-related or somehow it happened on the job. So I've been to a number of different hospitals and spoke with the firefighter or the family of the firefighter in that portion. So I go back and see them on a regular basis while they're there.
There are parts of this job that are stark reality.
Yeah. And it's so wonderful that the first responders put themselves in the line of danger to be able to protect the members of the community.
Absolutely. And what's really remarkable is how they're able to do that and the great way that they serve the community. What's really one thing that was probably a great lesson for me is when one of the firefighters was hurt in a fire and went to receiving hospital to be with his wife, and be with him and his family. And I find out that there's probably 5 or 6 other firefighters that are right there. But what's really unique, which I think a lot of people could learn from, is that they work together as a team, even when somebody is hurt, and they all pitch in to help. So there could be the commander in charge is like, okay, who's going to pick up this guy's shift while he's in the hospital? One volunteers. Yep, I'll do that. And when they were at receiving hospital, this says the wife's feeling kind of nervous about being here by herself. Then another firefighter goes, okay, yeah, I'll sit with her. I'll be with her, make sure she gets home okay. At one particular time, it was like the firefighter's son had a soccer game. And one guy goes, who's going to represent the dad at the soccer game? Guy goes up, yep, I will. Totally took care of all of his needs while he was injured.
That's so great to hear.
And people really don't get a chance to see that, obviously, but they all pull together. Teamwork is so important in their job, but it's also really important when they find that somebody's down or hurt or needs some sort of assistance. A bunch of them pitch in right away to help.
Especially within the community. We are talking with Tim Holzerland, who's the chaplain for the West Bloomfield Fire Department here at the annual West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House, as we broadcast live on 89.3 WBLD, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, as we take care of that reset. Penny, anything else that you wanted to talk to the chaplain about?
Could you tell us a little bit about the Clergy Association that you're involved with?
Sure, yeah. I've been active part of the West Bloomfield Clergy and Community Forum.
Okay.
I'm a pastor for 24 years. I've always been involved in ecumenical movements for that 24 years. I have to say that West Bloomfield is one of the most unique clergy and community forums I've ever been a part of, because it's interfaith. And so all the houses of worship are all welcome. I get to know everybody from a rabbi to a imam to any kind of leader at all that's in West Bloomfield, which is awesome. The other thing that's unique is that it includes community officials. So someone from the township could be there, someone from Parks and Rec, school superintendents. All of these people are all meeting together on the first Thursday of the month, all sharing ideas, all sharing ways in which they could work together, all promoting their individual events and things that they have. But I've never been a part of such an incredible, diverse amount of people who are all learning from each other and working together. I've been a part of, ministerials that have just included Christians and not other people, but it is incredible. I have never been a part of it. I love it. I would never miss it.
Yeah, and that's so wonderful to hear, and it just shows that West Bloomfield is such a uniquely involved community, that the fire department and police department and Henry Ford Hospitals is here, and everyone is just here together to help each other out, and Parks and Rec is providing the shuttles, and it's just everyone is.
And the first meeting, the first person to greet me was it was someone who was representing a Jewish organization. And
Really?
that was the first one to say hello to me. It wasn't another pastor, it wasn't another priest or anything. That's the person who came up and talked to me first, and it was like, wow, this is quite a place, and loved it.
Such a diverse community that we are in and encompassed in. And what you touched on as far as the collaboration from everybody, that is so key as far as how strong the community ties are.
Absolutely.
In any community, but since we're here, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As you can see by the turnout today.
Oh, absolutely. And if there is something going on in the school system, then the superintendent's right there. He's sharing that information, and it goes out to the people in our community. It goes into all of our houses of worship, and we're all saying, how can we work to solve this together? And it's just, I like I said, I've never, ever been a part of a group like that in 24 years. So
Wow.
it's very unique, and I think it's something that West Bloomfield should not take for granted. It doesn't happen everywhere.
Exactly. That's one of the things that we're pointing out here. Not every, and Officer Rick touched on that too, and some of the other guests, is that, you know, we have a unique situation here. Not everybody has these type of advantages, but it's right here. Everything is being supplied for you. The community getting involved and making sure the millages are passed, so all this can occur. And that's so important. So we cannot stress that enough.
Yeah, and if you want to be involved in that process of some form or fashion, then you can just come to that Clergy and Community Forum, or you can just be aware of the things that are taking place in West Bloomfield, that you can join any of these groups and be involved any way possible.
How can people get in touch with you, Tim?
They can reach me by my email, which is pastortim91@yahoo.com. And 91 is the year that I was ordained. So
excellent. Okay.
That's how old I am.
Gotta have a connection there. I love that.
And they can just contact you if they're involved in joining the Clergy and Community
if they would
Forum?
like to join the Clergy or Community Forum, if they'd like to know activities that are happening, we have emails that go out, and we can let people know different ways in which they want to be involved. They want to help. They want to encourage others. Whatever they want to do, we'll be glad to help them out.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Tim Holzerland, Chaplain of the West Bloomfield Fire Department, a proud member, and we are proud of him as well. We thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Residents came out in large numbers to learn about fire prevention and to support its local heroes. To see more of our live broadcast of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on 89.3 WBLD, visit our website at civiccentertv.com/2015 WBFD Open House.